Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we get together to talk about movies, TV, and online content and help you answer the question, how bad would it be if Paramount bought Warner Brothers? Pretty bad. I'm your host, Ash Shelby. Join me today, Don Black.
No thanks.
They'll just cancel anything that's not making money. There'll be no comedy, no HBO, nothing.
They cancelled they're like, Superman didn't make enough money. That's it.
Yeah.
We're done.
They'll probably just shut down the whole comics department because
Comics
it's
won't
not
make
making
money.
enough money.
Yep.
You know? Surely, there's no way they could possibly buy Warner Brothers, right? Like, I know they're pretty liberal with the monetization monopoly thing over there, but surely one studio buying one of the other's biggest studios in the world can't
You
happen.
would think so, but I don't know. After the Xbox thing, who knows anymore?
Yes. All right. On today's episode, we'll be talking about what's in our watch history, going over some film news, which is mostly what happened at the Emmy Awards, giving some thumbs to trailers, and giving you this week's top 3. Kicking things off, I went to cinema and checked out the new release, The Long Walk, directed by Francis Lawrence, who people would mostly know from his work on the Hunger Games series, starring Cooper Hoffman, David Johnston, and a bunch of other great young up-and-coming actors. So the concept is it's set like 17 years after some sort of dystopian event in America. America is now under like a full totalitarian control.
Realistic.
And like so every year they randomly select 50 volunteers, boy volunteers, one from each state, to commit in the Long Walk, which is pretty much they have to walk above 3 miles per hour for as long as they possibly can. They get a warning if they stop for 10 seconds. And after the third warning, they get their ticket, as it is described at the start of the film. But the ticket is a bullet ahead, pretty much.
Military speak, you know?
Yes. Other like rules: you can't leave the road. You can't can't grab weapons and all this. Can't attack other people. Bunch of things are explored during the story, but yeah, this is a really fantastic film. Like, obviously, it is pretty much held up by the performances of the whole entire cast because it is just them walking for the entirety of the 108-minute runtime. There's a couple of flashbacks, but outside of that, it's just them on the road competing in this competition. And just the banter and conversations that they have, and like, it's really interesting because obviously it's not the way they tackle it in the film. The kids don't. It's not like we're going to scheme against each other to get like each other eliminated and that kind of stuff. It's like they kind of don't want each other to die. They want to just try and last as long as possible. And thus there's these really interesting friendships that develop over the course of however long the walk goes on for. I don't know if it was like, I thought there would be breaks at certain points, but no, they're walking the entire time.
If they stopped, it would be like defeat the whole purpose.
You'd be like, oh, what? They can, they can go sleep and go to the bathroom.
No,
that kind of stuff. Nope. There's a lot of like them kind of nodding off while they're walking at night, and like kind of just relying on somebody to help you walk along. There's instances of people having to do their business and how that is tackled or not tackled in the process. Yeah, really interesting depiction. But yeah, I mean, it's ultimately a story about friendship and male emotions and all that kind of good stuff, and kind of is led by Cooper Hoffman and David Johnston, who give fantastic performances. Cooper Hoffman confirming himself as one of the best young actors, and David Johnston kind of one of the breakout actors the last couple of years.
I was watching.
Everybody loved him in Alien Romulus.
I was watching a clip on TikTok this morning. Someone interviewing Cillian Murphy and like asking a bunch of quick fire questions, and they asked who his favorite actor is at the moment or whatever, and his answer was Cooper Hoffman. There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, other great actors like Charlie Plummer's in this. Ben Wang from Karate Kid plays like I can't pick his accent. I think he's trying to do like a New Jersey, New York accent. He's like comes off as like super confident.
We walk
and,
in here.
No, not quite that. But like super confident and like super confident and like, you know, he's got all these plans, he's done all this research on how to tackle the game. The other interesting element of it is obviously the prize, which is a bunch of money and a wish if it can be fulfilled. So, you know, so there's kind of these conversations about why people are going, what they want is their wish, and like why they got into this in the first place, and like was it even a choice, because like they've kind of been programmed to want to compete in this competition even though there's only a 1 in 50 chance that they'll survive to the end and that kind of stuff. So really interesting, really engaging, despite it being like visually not super engaging or interesting, I guess, like or like it doesn't, it's not, there's not much variety in what you'll see in this film. You know what I mean?
People
because it is just them walking on the road.
Getting yelled at by Marco.
Yeah, at times, you know. It seemed to be implied that he is like in charge of the entire country. So really interesting. I would highly recommend checking it out.
It's a short Stephen King short story. So
yeah, it was a novella, I believe.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of details that I don't know if the film expands on, but they wouldn't have been fully fleshed out because of the size of the story.
No, so yeah, highly recommend checking out The Long Walk in cinemas. Dylan, you watched Highest to Lowest, the new Spike Lee joint that dropped on Apple TV Plus.
Yes, I did. I think this is a very interesting film in which I went from thinking it was terrible to thinking it was great, and then trying to look back on it and going, man, why is that the trajectory of watching this movie? Maybe I'll enjoy it, and maybe I'll enjoy the part I thought was terrible more if I watch it again the second time. So this movie, which is based on a Akira Kurosawa film, where it has the same concept but it's been highly updated. But basically the concept in that film was, which I've never watched, but the concept is that like it's a shoe salesman who gets his son kidnapped and held for ransom and stuff. Whereas this one, you've got Denzel Washington playing a big, well, he's not current time, not the biggest record label producer currently going, but was once considered, you know, in his prime was like the Kingmaker. So his name's David King. Everyone calls him the Kingmaker. You know, they say a million times this movie, they say he has the best ears in the business and stuff. And the movie starts, the first, I would say, 45 minutes to an hour, is sort of just wandering around with him in his life. He takes his son to basketball. He's doing this business meeting. He's trying to buy back all the shares to the record label so he can take it on the direction he wants to take it again, instead of having to, you know, because he sold them off years ago to, you know, so now it's controlled by multiple people and all this sort of stuff. And then basically this character, young felon, he played by A$AP Rocky, he kidnaps his, I don't know what is and what isn't the spoiler in this, but he kidnaps his son and basically holds him for ransom, and he requests like $17 million by the next morning or else he'll kill him. Now, the money that he's requesting, the big dilemma is that it's, you know, he needs the money to close this massive business deal that he just said he will have ready by the next morning. So then he's putting this whole, you know, it's business versus life relationship things. So from that point, once he like heads off with the police, there's like a moment where he like packs all the money and he heads off with his right hand man, who's played by Jeffrey Wright. This guy, Paul, who you get the sense that like he, very much implied he spent time in prison. But they've got a long history together. They're like best friends, and he's treated like his kid calls him Uncle Paul and all this stuff. There's a big history implied there. But the way these two characters are used, or the way Spike uses these two, is very interesting because Denzel Washington's character, he's basically, because of his success and fame and money, it's almost like he's moved past his blackness, I guess, or even like moved past any pretenses and stuff like that. He's just talked to normally and all this sort of stuff, but all the cops still treating Paul like shit, even around this dude, because of his because he'd done a small stint in jail about something, or just because of the way he dressed. Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's very interesting, like, dichotomy between the two characters. Yeah, once Denzel Washington like heads off to hand off the money, the film sort of picks up from then, and you have a few thrilling chase sequences and stuff like that. One originally on the train, and how the money gets dropped off is at like a I can't remember, they say the actual day event they're celebrating, but it's like a big like street event, and like music's playing and all this stuff, and that was very cool to watch and put together very well. And then I think the scene I've seen most people talk about, which I guess rightfully so, is when Denzel Washington and A$AP Rocky come face to face in like sort of the last act of the movie, and they just the fact that the one of the key moments in their face-off was actually just ad-libbed by the two of them. It wasn't part of the script at all. Is kind of crazy, but it works so well. But the thing that makes this movie so weird to me, and I don't know, it's not even a thing where I'm going to say it and you'll be like, man, if I watch it now, I only noticed it because you said it. You would fucking notice it. The music is so weird. And I feel like I'm missing something.
I've heard reports of this.
Yeah.
How the score is just there's music playing constantly.
Yeah, so music, especially for that first 45-hour whatever, and then like it changes up and it drops when we're in this other side of it. Like, I almost feel like I'm not fully, like, it's on purpose, but I don't fully understand why it's there. I don't know. I feel like yeah, it's odd. It's just, not only is it playing entirely, but it's really weird music. Like, it's very highly piano orchestral. Like, all the characters are speaking and someone's like on the fucking piano and shit, and you're just like watching it going, what, this is so, I don't get it. Like, it's distracting. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd find it less distracting on the second watch than I did the first, but the first watch I was definitely distracted by the musical choice and just feel like I'm missing something. But by the time I got to the end of the movie, and seeing the how everything plays out between all these characters, and I really like the way that the movie actually ended, and I think I got an idea, at least something of an idea of what Spike was trying to say about old school versus new school, or highest to lowest, or whatever you want to. By the time we got to the end of the movie, it made me go, maybe I would it would be better the second time. I don't know. Very interesting movie, but yeah, the music is the choice.
All right. So I watched the latest show from Dropout.tv, one of our favorite places to watch content. The spin-off from season 7 of Game Changer, Crowd Control.
Can I just pause for 2 secs? And funny thing, who's that new comedian we said we really liked on the last season that was on the original episode of this that you're about to talk about?
Josh Johnson?
Yeah, I think yes, it is. My side story before you keep going is I was watching the first episode of the new Stan documentary about the mushroom killer thing lady, right? They've dropped one episode. I don't know how often they're dropping, weekly or whatever. Anyway, there's only one out so far. Watched that last night. And in it, when they, how a lot of documentaries now like pull social media clips of stuff, they're talking about how this story from Australia like spread like all over the web, and they're showing all these TikTok clips. One was him at a comedy show doing a bit about it. And I'm like, whoa, what a crossover. There's my little side story. All right, continue.
Anyway, yeah, so they've adapted it to be its own standalone show, much in the way they made Make Some Noise as their own personal show. So if you didn't watch the Game Changer episode, it is 3 comedians are brought on stage to do crowd work. But each round it's revealed that the crowd has the first round is just people in everyday clothes. They just do crowd work. You don't know anything that's happening. Second round, a bunch of people take off their an outer layer of clothes to reveal a shirt with exciting prompts about things to ask them about. Third round, so other people have red shirts with like more dangerous potential things to talk about. And then there is a fourth round that's introduced in kind of the final twist, where the host, Jaquise Neal, asks the performers to do crowd work in a certain way. Like they had Bob the drag queen as one of the comedians, and they asked him to be very monotone during his final round, like not like show any emotion or go over the top. Or they had Brennan on the episode, and they asked him not to use any big words. So he had to do pretty good, you know, just very basic caveman stuff, which you can imagine was quite funny. Yeah, I mean, it translated the original concept pretty well to the screen. We'll see there is the deciding of the winner is a basic, which one of these performers was the best, and the crowd chooses, the winner, rather than some sort of weird point system. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of fun gags in this opening episode. Lots of coming back to people, which is something interesting as well. So yeah, I would I think Dropout has another hit on its hands. So yeah, episodes dropping fortnightly. Check out Crowd Control and check out Dropout.tv. Dylan, you've done a binge watch of a bunch of Shudder originals.
Never.
Or Shudder films, at least. Talk to me about Shadow of God.
Shadow of God is it's a exorcism film, I guess, be the genre. It like so it starts with look. It was I'll say I didn't think this was very good. In fact, I can't remember the three I watched, but none of them stand out in my memory, so this might be a quick catch up. But the it's basically this priest dude starts with exorcism. The person is yep. The demon knows his name. They're like, wow, that's weird. And then he goes back to his hometown, meets up with his like ex-girlfriend or whatever. And then all this weird shit starts happening. He starts seeing his dad, who he thinks is dead, but his dad's not really dead. Or actually, he saw his dad get shot. So how's his dad alive? Anyway, I'm going to spoil this movie because this is like, who cares at this stage? This movie ends. Well, what it turns out being is his dad was part of a cult, and he thought his dad cult, but like super like ultra Catholic, like fucking whoa cult. And then like the cops raided or whatever and shot him, his dad dead, or when he was younger, as FBI and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, turns out God has run away from heaven, basically, and he's in his dad, but God's bad. God's basically being like, man, fuck all you humans, I'm going to kill you all. So then the devil comes down and talks to our main character, and he's like, man, you can't let this happen, because if God kills you all, who the fuck am I going to torture? So then the end of the movie is like this glowing white, like fucking his dad's like turning into God, like ready to, and he's having a whole battle, and yeah, it's crazy film. Yeah, I'd skip it.
God. Okay. Talk to me about Bloody Axe Wound.
This one was all right. I do feel like it was close to being good. So the setup for this is there's a lot of confusing parts missing from this, which like tonally it sort of jumps backwards and forwards. Although it's meant to be a comedy horror, but it's sort of like not super balanced. Also, there's like the film opens with a scene with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who you never see again, and I don't know how he got involved. I'm like, is he a producer? No, he's not. Is he friends with someone? I don't know. Anyway, but like it's this world, or the world in which the film takes place, is our main character, the girl. She's the daughter of a serial killer, and the serial killer, he goes out, her dad, and he kills all these people that just magically get circled in like yearbooks. And he says, you got to trust the system. You just kill the people that show up in the book. You go kill the teenagers, blah blah blah. But it's all filmed somehow. They never explain how it's filmed. They're all filmed, and they get turned into these snuff films, and then during the day, they run a video store where people come rent the snuff films from him killing people. None of this is ever explained. Who's filming, how the stuff gets filmed, whatever. I can sort of move past that. It's just there are other elements, like her dad seemingly being very old, and he also just is sort of, I guess, like Jason Voorhees, in which he can't really die, or he like goes into a hole in the ground to recover and like comes back alive and all these other things. Anyway, the main setup for the movie basically becomes that her dad has to go away to rest because he can't move anymore. He needs to like go underground and rest. So he says that she can go do the killing, and she's very excited at the start of the movie. She's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna go be a serial killer. That sounds great, let's do that. But the problem is she goes undercover, I guess, at the local school to try to get closer and make plans on how she's going to murder all these kids. But she starts making friends with the kids, and that's and that obviously is a problem, because you probably shouldn't make friends with the people that you want to murder and kill. And in fact, she starts falling in love with this girl. So then there's all these romantic tensions, and then her dad starts showing back up and is like, you got to kill all these people. And she's like, I don't want to. They're good people. Stuff like that. I think it's all, like, concept-wise, very high concept, obviously. A lot of fun at times. The characters were all good. I like the whole, like, younger cast was good. The main girl was good. The dude playing the dad was heavily makeup and stuff because he's meant to look fucked up and scarred. That was fun. Yeah, it's just like tonally it doesn't sit quite, like, sometimes it like dips into this because it's very high concept, so I feel like it should run at high concept like the entire time, but then every now and then it like dips out of it and try to be like a bit more serious. And yeah, so I would, this one's worth checking out. There's a mixed bag, but I appreciate its originality.
All right, then talk to me about Monster Island.
This is the one we watched the trailer for.
Yes.
Yeah. So this one is set during the early 1940s, I guess, World War II. A Japanese cruiser ship, I don't know what name, but basically has a prisoner, has a bunch of prisoners on board, including a British soldier or British soldiers, and also they've got another Japanese soldier who was working for the I think the British or the Americans, whatever. Anyway, he was a spy, so he's captured as well. And then the ship gets like blasted from above. The film opens with like a text card that explains like sometimes they bomb their own ships by accident because of reasons I can't remember. Anyway, the ship gets bombed, crashes. They land together on this island, having survived. They're chained together at the start of the movie, and they have a bit of a tussle because, of course, the British or American soldier, whatever he is, I can't actually remember. But British or American, one of those two, soldier, they try and fight because, of course, he assumes that the Japanese soldier chained to him is probably trying to kill him, but he doesn't really care to kill him. And then they also then get attacked by this, like, creature from the Black Lagoon type monster, and then have to fight that off. And then from that point on throughout the movie, they're basically obviously trying to find a way off the island, way to survive, but they're being hunted by this creature the entire time as well. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I think the monster design was good. I don't think it overstayed its welcome. I think it's barely 90 minutes, which worked well for it. It is mostly just two dudes. There are a couple other people that land on the island, soldiers and stuff that help like break up how it goes. But I think the way it was paced out worked in its favor. It's like they crash land, they have to learn to work together and all this sort of stuff. Then it's like by the time you get to Act 2, they sort of get separated after like a big fight of the monsters. So then you have a few segments where they're like split apart. And most of that's like silent because they're not talking from then, so you get a long time. All the cinematography is really good here. I thought too, just lots of like building the tension, them walking and having to overcome their own little problems. Then of course Act 3 they get back together for the big finale. But I thought the way they like sort of they paced out worked well for me, and I had fun. It was like a classic monster movie, just like you can tell it's a dude in makeup and a suit as well, like, but in a good way. So
all right. Normally this would be the part where I tell you to put your feet up, take a break, because we're going to be talking about some anime. But you're the actual person who watched the anime. You just come out of watching Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle. What was that experience like?
Because I'm the big anime fan here, not you. So, time and time again, this proves to be true. Demon Slayer.
When's the last time you watched an episode of Demon Slayer?
Not for a while. Not out of choice. Just haven't got around to it, But I was thinking about this on my drive.
Have you watched anything since we watched Mugen Train?
No, I was thinking about this on my. I was thinking about this on my drive home. Right? Here's the thing. You know how quite often I talk about how these movies where I'm really excited for them, and if I miss them at the cinema, and then when they come out, even if I have the option of watching them home, it just sometimes I never do it, or I just don't get
Mhm.
around to it, just because it's not as exciting when it's not at the cinema. I feel like this is a reverse effect where I'm like, I've had all the time in the world to catch up on the seasons and all that. I could have watched it at home, could have binged it, haven't done it. They put a new movie in the cinema. I'm like, gotta go. You know?
Just have to see it.
Yeah, if it's
I'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, it's in the. It's I work opposite. These people are like, man, I can't sit there and watch a 3-hour movie in the cinema, but they'll sit there fucking binge watching a TV show or doom scrolling TikTok for 6 hours. I'm like, no, I can only go to the cinema, you know. So
Dylan is proof that you don't need to do homework to go see movies in the theater.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say this: having not watched anything since Mugen Train,
Mhm.
this flowed along quite nice.
Okay.
To be completely honest, there's a few characters who in the here's what I got. The movie starts. They give you a little 10-minute basically what happened at the end of the anime, because the anime's done is what I've from my press release understanding, because I've read a news story or two about this over the last 6 months.
It's done until they decide, let's continue this. Let's remake this movie into another season of TV show.
All the they've said it's done. Like they said they're finishing it with these 3 movies, right? So the Demon Slayer anime, supposedly everything they've said, done. Last season, done. They now said there's 3 movies to finish the story. The next one comes out 2027, then the next one after that 2 years later, 2029. So one every 2 years at the moment. Yeah. So but Mugen Train, which I liked, we talked about, we just spoiler cast for, I think. The main bad guy, not the main bad guy, but the one who kills old Lionface in that, at the end, spoilers, he's the main bad guy in this. So I'm gone from that to this, and look, I don't know any characters' names. This is going to be the other problem. The main character, whose name I don't know.
Kenjiro.
Sure, Kenjiro. So he shows up, right? This villain shows up, and he's like, basically says, motherfucker, you know? And I'm like, that's right. Because that's the guy, you know? Now, I haven't seen the seasons in between, but I gather straight away, he hasn't seen this dude since the train. What have we doing to these last couple seasons? Nothing important. Nothing important from what I've gathered. Mini bosses, that's apparently true. But I mean, look, so from what I gather, the season finale basically ends. They call up the demon, or the Demon King dude shows up. They think they've gonna beat him. They inject him with some shit. Now he's healing. He's got the girl. He's got the sister. Right. This is how this starts. And he drags them all down to the demon world, which is this infinite castle area. It's like a ever expanding fucking no one can find shit. Infinite just hallways and cars, like towers and whatever nonsense. So they're all in demon world. That's how that's the setup is. So they're all sort of split up. The first, like, I'll say, and you we're talking this because I was nearly going to be late to it. Did not realize this is 2 hours 35-minute long movie, but it is. Animation wise, sensational. You know, no, like, it looks. If the reason they're doing this 3 movies is because they can let the animation team spend the time to make it look this much better, well worth it, because the animation in this is stellar. The fight scenes, everything, choreography, fantastic. For the most part, I think you could describe this movie as a bunch of prolonged fights with different characters. It starts with a fight, which I won't spoil, with one of the girls, and like that sort of gets paused at one stage, and then we switch over to whatever you said the main dude's name is, and he's fighting old mate from the Killer Train, and that's pretty much the majority of the movie at that point. Now, for bad or worse, and I do think it's a mix, is the film is filled with flashbacks. Some of them necessary and work. Others, pace killers that I think I would have got rid of. And I wouldn't, if someone said that if someone was to say they didn't like the movie because they felt like the pacing was killed by too many flashbacks, I could totally understand that. However, when they do little 2-3 minute interruptions to flash back to a moment that I didn't really need to see in the fight scene, that's annoying, especially when the animation is as cool as it is. The music is fucking banging. The soundtrack in this is going off. Also, before I forget, sound design in this, 10 out of 10. I don't know what they were doing. Between the fucking swords clanging around the cinema and whatever, like you can tell this isn't, because I've watched a few anime movies in cinema now. Some you can tell are more like they made it the same way they would for TV, but then they,
Was that a compilation? They're just
so the compilation, and you
compilation
can tell the
movies.
difference.
Yeah,
This you can tell they've mastered the sound for cinema. They've gone the higher, like this is a movie, right? And you can tell that from visual to audio, which I think is worth pointing out. But then it's like, although it is a bunch of prolonged fights and stuff, and as cool as they are, at the end of the day, the character stuff's where it sort of comes back to. And the two most important flashback stuff is there's flashback stuff for old mate, the main character, whose name I now refuse to say, and stuff to do with his father, which I thought was really cool. Helps him unlock a new ability. But the most interesting stuff, and I think it's about 30 minutes of the movie, or more, might be guessing, is they do about a 30-minute flashback to old Train Killer, the bad guy. That was really interesting because up until they decide to flash back, you're like, just kill this dude. He's evil. We don't like this guy. We haven't liked this guy since Mugen Train and all the seasons that we've definitely watched in between. We haven't liked this guy, And then they do a flashback and they add a lot of really interesting history to him and how how he grew up, and then up until he actually became a demon, and how he becomes a demon is also very interesting, and what it does to him after then. So, yeah, and then the movie sort of has it doesn't really end, which I appreciate. It doesn't do like a whole wait for part 2. It's just like the story keeps going and the credits just start rolling. I kind of like that.
So it's got cliffhanger or no?
No, it's just like what's a cliffhanger?
Just like end the episode.
It's like, well, the main fight ends, right? Obviously, like no big spoilers. The main fight ends. There's a few like cliffhanger, like certain characters look like they're dead, other characters are dead, other characters could be about to die, because they're all sort of split up. They're all in like groups of, although the whole Demon Slayer.
What is it? Is it Across the Spider-Verse? Is it Fast 9 or Fast 10? Is it the Final Reckoning Part 1? What's the closest to?
Across the Spider-Verse?
Okay.
Well, because it doesn't.
So it feels like there is an ending, but it's going to continue.
No, well, there's an ending to our main story, which has been this guy, this story, the main fight. But then, like, it does the whole thing where as the credits start rolling, I sat there for another 6 minutes, I think, because the credits are rolling as there's still stuff happening. So it like we've just spent like the last hour with we spend the first 30 to 45 minutes cutting around all the different groups of characters that all like have landed in groups of 2 across this infinite castle, and we're cutting around. But then as the credits start rolling, we start then cutting around again, just to like, they're like, remember where these people are at. This is what these people are up to. These people have seemingly been running for 2 hours and have reached nowhere. Like all these sorts of things. But no, would highly recommend watching it in the cinema. It was very good.
Sub or dubbed? I
watched it subbed.
Okay.
It was playing dubbed and subbed. However, this was the only time I could go watch it this week, and I took what I got.
So you still don't know who Channing played?
No, I do know who he's playing now because I've since gone back to the IMDb and been like, oh, that's who he played. He plays a integral character in the bad guys flashback scene. So someone who won't be back for part 2, basically.
It's like, can I have a bit part?
Yeah, it kind of a bit part, to be honest, just to get a big celeb name on the poster, I think.
The poster, yeah. All right, let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. And we have both watched AKA Charlie Sheen, the 2-part documentary detailing Charlie Sheen's career, his rise and fall and fall and rise and fall and rise, and just from his losing and his winning.
He only wins.
Yeah. Kind of starting from like obviously he's been sober for several years. Like I feel like he's been out of the spotlight for a while. So he's decided to do this long form interview, going into a lot of his struggles with drugs and alcohol, and his falling in and out with Hollywood. Obviously, starting from his childhood as the son of a prominent actor, Martin Sheen, and brother of rising Hollywood star Emilio Estevez. Really interesting. Like even him talking about they were there on during the filming of what's I call it, the Coppola film.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, and kind of being on set and around in Vietnam while they're filming that.
Vietnam.
Mercifully, they were away when Martin Sheen like kind of was at his absolute like physical and mental worst. But you kind of get an idea that him and Martin were very close. He even says like Martin kind of credits him for helping him get him out of that state because it was like trying to help him play catch and that kind of thing, and that kind of helped him physically get back into shape. Interestingly, you go through like his early trying to get and break into Hollywood, like he's almost being in the Karate Kid, which I don't know if it's a story that's gone around a lot, but that's something I didn't know. In all these kind of his rise, he being a platoon, and then starting to get heavy into drugs and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. His relationship with Nick Cage, and then diving into like him going into the sitcom world, and then his most infamous, I guess, more recent, spiral down during the 2.5 Men era, the Winning era, the Tiger Blood era of yeah, and then kind of looking at how he came back each time. I don't know. Dylan, what do you think of the documentary?
I thought it was okay. I think that although it seems like Charlie's there, and I think he's there very much being like, I'm just going to be honest about everything and whatnot. I think that the first episode or the first half is a lot better than the second half. I think once they get more towards the back end, it just seems to like rush through a lot of stuff, or like it's almost like the directors or producers didn't ask them or push him for the questions, because he kept being like, yeah, I'm open, and he answers a couple of them, but they're very short answers to some stuff, and they don't delve further than it. A lot of the stuff that they talk about is well known, well documented, and although it's interesting to hear people talk about it, from himself to fucking Sean Penn to
Sean Penn may be the weirdest person in this documentary.
Why? That's just Sean Penn.
He just seems to be so incredibly removed from everything else.
That is Sean Penn in literally any interview. Go watch Sean Penn in any interview. My dude just like when he's no fucking care in the world. I was trying to think of John Cryer, who I was trying to think the name of, but like John Cryer stuff's interesting because he's just basically like fuck Charlie Sheen, but
yeah, he's just calling it as straight as possible.
Yeah, as straight as possible. But yeah, I think by the time I got to the end of the second half, I was a little bit disappointed. I don't think it went as deep as I thought the build up was having me led to believe it would go. And also ultimately, I felt like we hear so much about the things and the people he's fucked over. And it is a documentary that is a big case for like, money buys you anything. Like, because my dude would be in prison and like he gets away with so much in his life, gets so many second chances, gets out of jail, all these other things because of the money and power which he has in Hollywood, and such a stance of privilege that he comes from, that although he talks about, I don't know if I fully believe him when he talks about it, but it just made me really wish, because the documentary almost, by the time you reach the end of it, it's meant to be like, man, what a harrowing journey, what a uplifting story about how a man can overcome addiction and turn his life around. And by the end of it, I'm more worried about like the women he's hurt, and I think all these things. So I just found it a very weird narrative for the end to, at least that's how I took at the end of the documentary, to be like, yeah, look, he did it, you can too. I'm like, honestly, he's the person I cared about the least by the end of this. Like, there's so many other people he's fucking hurt along the way.
Yeah. I think early on I was like I can't remember, like, it's the story about him going to be in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He's like, I fell asleep, I didn't get to set till like hours later. And then I came on set. John Hughes saw me and was like, yeah, I thought I was going to get called out or like fired or whatever. And John Hughes was like, all right, let's shoot. And the documentarian is like, oh, is this the first instance that you realize you get away with this kind of shit? And there was that constant kind of that line of questioning. It was like, oh, this is like a pattern of system that made you realize you could like continue to go down this slope. Like, it wasn't your decisions, it was like the environment around you, and it was kind of leading in that direction with a lot of his questions and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excusing him a little bit.
Yeah.
So I can understand, like, he didn't go super hard on.
They talk about everyone on screen talks about this being like a hardcore documentary, or like telling the truth and stuff. But I'm like,
I mean, there's like that 10 minutes where he's like, everybody offset, it's just us now. And he reveals that he had sex with men. And
just so he can be like, do you fuck a dude? He's like, yep. I'm like, okay.
I feel like everybody else could have been around.
I feel like everyone else could have been like, yep. No one cares other than you.
Well, I mean, there was the allegations from Corey Feldman that maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. I mean, I that's a whole thing where I'm. Now that he said it in this documentary, I guess I don't believe any of it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I think some of the other people around are really interesting, like John Cryer, who's very open about his feelings about how it all panned out. Denise Richards, who obviously is ex-wife, and like talking about their struggles being together. I think the madam who he was hiring escorts from, she's bitter.
He's very bitter, and I think deservingly. She calls him a little bitch, which he was.
Yeah. It's like, why is she all about parrots now? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, interesting watch. I mean, I think it would have been much more hard hitting maybe if Martin Sheen and Emilio Estevez had been involved, or like they talked to the other brother is there, but like very rarely used in the footage. So,
you know, my dude sued when he got fired from 2.5, and he's like, they shut down the show and whatever, and he's like suing the fuck out of network and everything, and then he does that whole line about the allegations of touching the underage kid. He's like, oh, I was going to sue, but it was just too much effort. I'm like, yeah, I don't believe that. Like, that's odd.
I mean, the other thing I was like, man, Martin Sheen and Charlie Sheen were in a lot of stuff together.
He fucking ranks the actors at the end. And I'm like, dude, you're the worst of the three of them. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, my dad's the best in this, and Emilio's probably the best at this, but I'm over all this. I'm like, what are you talking about?
All right, that's everything in our watch history. But so let's move into film and TV news, despite it mainly being about something that we did watch. The 77th Primetime Emmy Awards, a show that was full of surprises and shocks, I think, but was maybe overshadowed by a running bit that ran through the entire show.
Yeah, I hope you've got answers for some of this, because I'm confused.
What? Did you not watch?
I missed the end.
Okay.
I missed the last 5 minutes, or 5-6 minutes, because that's when I had my interview.
Do you know who won the final award?
Yeah, I looked that up, but I couldn't be bothered going back and watching the last 5 minutes.
Well, Dylan, what did you think of the show overall, I guess?
Overall, I liked it. I thought that I don't think there was any bad bits or moments or weird acceptance speeches or what have you. I did think that the running gag about the donations to the whatever Girls and Boys Club, whatever it's called.
Yeah, okay, so Nate Bargatze, the host, set up the start. He's going to donate $100,000 to the Boy and Girl Scouts of America or whatever. But for every second someone takes over their time, they're allotted 45 seconds to give their speech. $1,000 will be taken off the total. But if they go below 45 seconds, money will be added.
Yeah. And when I last was watching it, I believe they're at negative 66,000 or something.
Yes. So at the end, Nate Bargatze just donated $250,000. CBS $100,000 because they're a bunch of cheapskates, and so ultimately $350,000 went to the charity.
Right. Okay.
So none of it was necessary.
I did appreciate how it made some of the celebs rush through it. Like John Oliver, Seth Rogen, some people, and then other people like, nah, fuck the kids.
I don't know. I feel like
they tried something different to get people to hurry up.
I get it. It's a bit, but also like these are these people's moments. But like we're always talking about, like we want to hear these speeches from these people who've achieved something and that kind of stuff.
45 seconds is so short.
It is not long.
It's not long at all.
We don't know when the starting point is. Is it like as soon as they say their first word? Is that when you're counting
when
it?
they get on
stage? As soon as they're announced? Yeah. And when are you not counting it? Because apparently that wave from Catherine Lanasa was counted. I don't know. When's a speech end? But yeah, I thought they kind of took away from some of the speeches and that kind of thing. Like people felt like they needed to rush, or John Oliver just playing into the gag of, rather than saying something poignant, potentially.
Yeah, I know. It's hard because I'm like, it's never going to go away as much as we're like, just let people have the time and the show can go as long as it wants. Because it's a network show. They want it to stick under the 3 hours or whatever. So
that's the solution. Don't make it a network show anymore.
Well, that is the solution. But I'm like, I'm off two minds because it did make it weird and whatever else. But I'm also like, at least they tried something different rather than just playing the music really loud and making it awkward. And
yeah.
Okay. But overall, good. Yeah, had some good bits, good jokes. Good winners, some surprising winners,
Yes, I think surprising winners, which was good. I don't know if there were a lot of good bits. Like a lot of presenters were just there and giving like a very people in the supporting acting category are here to be really good at supporting their peers in their film scenes. And here are the nominees. Like there weren't a lot of like reading superlatives.
Yeah, I enjoyed the
like an actual fun bit. I did. Obviously, they opened with an opening sketch of the creation of television.
Yeah, that was good.
Which was a fun bit. But even that led into Stephen Colbert coming out and presenting the first award, and then Nate coming out after and opening the show, which felt to me a bit disjointed.
He could have just trimmed that down instead of just being like, "Welcome to the whatever."
He could have had like a here is 77th Emmy Awards.
Yeah, and then he just starts
tonight, blah 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 blah, and then he could have taken that jacket off and come out.
Yeah, there was a few times you could tell it was his first time hosting something with this guy because he like fumbled some bits and stuff.
But yeah, like when they were doing the Golden Girls introduction,
he was like whatever.
Yes,
and the I think not bits, but some good presenters is probably what I'm thinking. Like I really enjoyed.
I will also say Nate did use the that cost me a lot of money joke, or that I saved a bunch of cash joke maybe too many times.
Yeah, do it like twice and then move on.
Yes,
like presenters wise, I thought there was a good mix of people. Mostly good chemistry, and some people that I thought got a time to shine on stage. The one I'll give the shout out to, I can't remember her name, but the really southern chick,
Leanne something.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
that was great. That was a good bit. Just getting completely distracted, nearly opening an envelope before even like listing the nominees. That's good fun.
Who have I got down? I wrote a few memorable presenters down. Obviously, we got Jeff Probst, who did a whole Survivor bit for the best scripted.
I enjoyed that, but you couldn't put out the torch.
Yeah, that would have been better.
He tried to put. No, I don't know if you saw it. He kept trying to put the thing over the flame to put it out, and he gave up. Like it showed a shot of him trying to put it probably down. Like pyro. It was probably like pyro. So he kept trying to put it down the clothes, and he lifted up, and it was still going. And then I saw they cut the camera back to a wide shot, and you just see him chuck it in the background and just walk off.
If that was on purpose, that's even funnier.
Yeah.
Jennifer Coolidge gave an extended bit about how winning the Emmy did not change her life.
Yeah, that was very good.
Made it harder.
Yep.
Ike Barinholtz and Catherine Hahn came out and gave a scathing remark about writers and how they're not necessary before going into a very awkward section of improv.
Mm-hmm.
Then Ray Romano and Brad Garrett at the end.
That was good. I like Ray
They were
Romano.
really
It's just like, you do it. Oh, really? Yeah. We're
Yeah.
gonna do something. That was good.
And we're going to make the cut.
Yeah.
What cut? The in memoriam.
Yeah.
Listen, if it's a slow year, absolutely, no doubt. Obviously, I mean, the big story is the studio adolescents dominating, winning most of the categories they were in. I think we all suspected that going in, but to see, them regularly on stage, was cool.
The fact we live in a world where Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are
Emmy Award winning.
just award winning of this caliber, like be it Academy Award, Emmy, Golden Globe, whatever, is crazy too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Childhood stoner friends just making it big,
In Hollywood, in the show about Hollywood.
Yeah.
So that's all good. A bunch of surprises. Obviously, Andor winning for Best Writing in a Drama Series.
Yep. Good.
Very fitting, because obviously that's the penultimate episode that was nominated for, with the big Mon Mothma speech that won.
I appreciate. Gave a shout out to the fans. I took that as us.
Specifically us.
Specifically us.
You want to say shout out to Holocron Entries, but
just talking about the support they've been receiving, and that's how I took the speech.
Yeah, absolutely. Slow Horses winning Best Directing. Big Slow. I feel like there has to be like a big Slow Horses fandom within the Academy, because obviously they also surprised everyone and took I think it was writing last year. So lots of fans in like the craft categories of Slow Horses. And then big surprises in some of the supporting acting categories, with Catherine Lanasa winning for The Pit in Best Supporting Actress at a Drama Series, defeating the White Lotus women, which I don't think many people saw coming, but they certainly didn't see coming. Jeff Hiller winning Most Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series for Somebody Somewhere.
Yeah, honestly, when this one happened, I was like, who and a what?
Yeah, so Somebody Somewhere, which was a HBO show that ran only 2 seasons, much like critically beloved, but like some would say criminally underwatched. It's going through maybe 3 seasons. Set in like Kansas and like following 2 very non-conventional looking people and that kind of stuff. So very surprising, great speech. So that was a surprise. And then also the Late Show, which we kind of predicted last week, but never winning this category in the 10 years or so they've been doing it, finally won. Interestingly, they'd were previously the second highest show to the show with the second highest amount of nominations without winning an award. Do you want to know what's number 1?
Better Call Saul. Yeah, disgusting.
So, speeches. Anyone particularly stand out to you?
Like surprising win?
No, just the speeches.
Oh, speeches.
Well, it's surprising wins if you
speeches. Hannah Einberger. Don't know what a comment about
Go Birds, fuck ice. Free parts. That's a
sports thing, I assume.
Sports thing, yeah.
I was like, I don't understand.
Also,
that part,
they censored
the
the fuck ice.
No, not
in
when
America,
I was watching it.
In America, they've got the beep button in America. So all the John Oliver fuck mates gone.
Yeah, so that was good. John Oliver was good because anyone dropping F-bombs is always good. Seth Rogen was good. The kid was good from
On Cooper.
Yeah, that was good. Just you're watching him do the speech, you're like, what a good lad. And it just kept coming back. That was because every time it cut back to Stephen Graham, I'm just sitting there like a proud dad. I'm just knowing he's sitting there going, what a good lad. On you, lad. Like, good lad.
What a good lad, letting me be in lead and taking supporting really.
Just I appreciate he's like, 3 years ago, didn't even know about this acting stuff, it just goes to show time, effort. But like it was a very like wholesome speech, honestly, about just like, it's just about persistence and trying and being willing to step out your comfort zone. I was like, on your mate. Yeah, probably they're the ones that I think stood out. Those couple there, off the top of my head.
I would say on top of those, Stephen Colbert's speech, obviously, rough to have that be in the position of giving that speech, which your show's about to be cancelled on the network that's about to cancel you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he was very,
he was humble.
Polite. Obviously, he thanked CBS. I just love that thing about, we wanted to make a show about love, and I realized we've made a show about loss, but those two are very closely connected. Because when you don't realize how much you love something until you start, there's a fear of losing it. It's like, I fucking love this country. It's like, you read between the lines on that line.
Yeah.
That was really good. And Chris Melotti giving a very
that's another
passionate,
surprising one, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say surprising, seeing as she won a lot of awards previous, well, like Golden Globes and that kind of stuff. But her speech was fantastic, and like, I want a free base off Francesca Lennart, whatever, in the creators show. I want a free base off her brain. I love acting, scream, just very very wholesome. So, and I also love Tremil Tillman, and he's like, just the way he delivered his speech of like, my first acting teacher was hard, but mothers both generally are.
Yeah, good bit.
And his mom was there. That's such a sweet moment. So, snubs, I guess, or like surprising non-winnings. The White Lotus went home with nothing tonight. Shocking, given the buzz around this season, and like it being kind of non-stop talked about, coming home with nothing.
Like the buzz was just a lot of social media people loving like making memes out of certain things. So I don't know what the it's very good, but I wasn't too shocked it didn't win.
But they were so heavily nominated.
Yeah, it's true. But maybe that's why they didn't win, Here's all the nominations so we can give the win to someone else. Cancel
each other out.
Yeah.
And The Bear. I mean, obviously the third season of The Bear was not heavily loved, but this was obviously a show that won, dominated kind of previously. This comedy category.
That was the best joke in the opening too. And shows like The Bear will win for best comedy. Is it comedy? No, it's about drama or whatever. It's like
we're going to make the fantastic comedies about trauma.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. So I mean, solid year. It just says there's a lot of good television out there. Anything else you want to mention?
No. Other than as I wrote in the chat tiers, did you see a fucking AEW ad every time? Was that just me?
They were pretty consistently arena,
ad. And it was the same ad. It's fucking FTR versus Christian Cage.
That's the main event, right?
I don't know if it's the main event, but it's the main storyline, I guess. But yeah, I'm just not used to seeing. I don't think I've watched something live on one of the channels on Binge since they've now showing. You can watch AEW on KO now or whatever. So it was just weirding me out every time. I'm like, are they paying for this? Or is it just happening?
I mean, they're trying to sell you on a pay-per-view, so.
Yeah. Just not used to seeing it.
Big crossover between award watchers and wrestling fans,
Yeah, it's a very small niche in which
people who want to watch murders by medics,
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's all the news for this week. So let's move into talking about some trailers by giving some thumbs to trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers we're about to talk about in the show notes below. We're kicking things off with a teaser trailer for Wake Up, Dead Man. A Knives Out story, I guess. Directed by Ryan Johnson, starring Daniel Craig, Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, Darren McCormick, and Thomas Hayden Church. Detective Benoit Blanc sifts through the series of suspects when a Monsignor turns up dead. Dylan, what'd you think of the trailer for the latest Knives Out film?
Yeah, it looks good. It's another Benoit Blanc film. My favorite part of the trailer would be the end when What's his Josh? Was it Josh?
O'Connor.
Josh O'Connor just comes in screaming at everyone. That was good. Double thumbs up.
Yep. 2 thumbs up from me. Obviously, again, another tone, I guess, is interesting for these Ben Blank films. Kind of
Tone's
going
that
for a little
haircut.
bit more. Yeah. Grew it out after destroying
Yeah.
Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Spoilers. A little bit more gothic. Obviously, it's set inside kind of this religious thing, and I think they do a good job of like setting up this unexplainable murder that takes place. And that is an incredible mystery to figure out. How this person died. So yeah, great work. I believe we're very well received at TIFF. So very keen. So Wake Up Dead Man is coming to cinemas on November 27th before releasing on Netflix the 12th of December. Next trailer is for Nouvelle Vague. Directed by Richard Linklater, starring Guillaume Marbeck and Zoe Deutsch and Aubrey Dooland. I apologize. After writing for Cahiers du Cinema, young Godard decides making films is the best film criticism. He gets Beauregard to fund a low-budget feature, creating a treatment and Truffaut about a gangster couple. So what do you think of this trailer about the French New Wave?
Yeah, it looks great. Double thumbs up. I'm very keen for this. I think it looks like it has a fun tone while also exploring the sort of nonchalant creation of French New Wave cinema, which I mean, in all regards, could be compared to like the slacker movement of American cinema, which is of course where Richard Linklater sort of come from. Yeah, very keen to watch this one.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. I think do a good job of getting you invested. And like, we love movies about making movies. So, black and white, French. Obviously, just set during an era that's very important to film history. So, very intriguing.
My funniest in the comment section, someone wrote something along the lines of, it was like, it's ridiculous to me that Netflix is putting out a movie about the the importance of cinema while also killing cinema.
Yep. So this will release on Netflix 14th of November. I believe it'll play some limited theaters in the US at least. So that's something. Next trailer is for Christie, directed by Deb Michaud, starring Sydney Sweeney, Ben Foster, Merritt Weaver, and Katie O'Brien. Tells the story of Christy Martin, the most successful female boxer of the 90s. So what do you think of the trailer for the next film from the director of Animal Kingdom?
Apologies. Yeah, no, it looks. I've been keen for this since they announced it. I think it looks really good. I think Sydney Sweeney obviously looks like she bulked up for the role, looking more like actual boxer, I guess, which helps. The story is intriguing to me. I know when they announced it, I didn't. Well, I mean, it's not surprising. I don't know a lot around boxing history, but I looked up the Christy Martin and just so I could have an understanding of if this is a important person or not. And yeah, from all accounts, basically the person who brought female boxing to the masses and everything. I think also what's his face looks really good in this. Well, really good.
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster looks good and
like
also
a piece of shit.
Terrible. Yeah. He looks good as a piece of shit in this. And then also the actor who's playing Don King. I don't know the actor, but whoever that is looks good.
Yeah, solid casting. Yeah, 2 thumbs up. I think, it got me invested in this story that I've got no, ties to. Obviously a scene that we know very little about, female boxing during the 90s, kind of been very strong, but Sydney Sweeney looks kind of unrecognizable. Like, definitely delves into this role, not her, usual look and that kind of stuff, and bulked up and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, looks really good. Solid cast. I'm sure it'll be an emotional ride. Christie is coming to US cinemas on the 7th of November, no Australian release date. Next trailer is for Song Sung Blue, directed by Craig Brewer, Starring Hugh Jackman, Kate Hudson, Michael Imparelli, Fisher Stevens, Jim Belushi, Ella Anderson, King Princess, Mustafa Shakir, and Hudson Hilbert Hensley. Inspired by real events, two financially struggling musicians establish a Neil Diamond tribute band through which they experience personal fulfillment and develop a romantic relationship. Dylan, what do you think of this new film from the director of Hustle and Flow?
I just sometimes I wonder if Hugh Jackman even gets sent scripts for things, or they're just like, "Hey, Hugh, we want you to do a movie where you sing and dance." Oh, I mean, I haven't even told you what sing and dance. I mean, crazy. I'm going to go double thumbs up for this one. Actually, it looks like a lot of fun. I think the chemistry between Kate Hudson and Hugh Jackman looks really good on screen. Like the role for Hugh is less surprising for me. Seeing Kate Hudson do this looks more like that's probably the more fun casting part there that I'm going to enjoy a bit more. Lots of supporting cast looks good as well, like Michael Imparoli. Yeah, I like Neil Diamond, so that will help. Appreciate the music. So yeah, thumbs up.
1 up, 1 down for me. It looks like a pretty basic musical, jukebox musical, I guess. I do not have any attachment to Neil Diamond except Sweet Caroline, so Hugh Jackman looks like he's playing a role that he's played several times. Kate Hudson does look interesting in this film. And that's a pretty solid supporting cast, so I mean, it's intriguing at the very least. Although it seems to be, I don't know, there seems to be a weird timeline thing. Like, do they get together and then they're rejoining together several years later or something? Kind of unclear, but yeah. Anyway, Song Sung Blue is coming to cinemas on the 1st of January, 2026. Last trailer for this week. Dust Bunny. Directed by Brian Fuller, starring Mads Mikkelsen, Sigourney Weaver, David Dalsmarchin, and Sophie Sloane. When a monster under her bed eats a family, an 8-year-old girl living in New York City asks her hit neighbor to kill the monster. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Dust Bunny?
It's a fun trailer. I'm very keen for this. I'm trying to already sort of just dissect what is actually going on. What I watched. It has a very interesting aspect ratio, which is already a choice. I mean, I just take it as like the hitmen are real, but like she views them. I don't know. It sort of almost looks like his sucker punch is what my mind went to. Well, I'm like, that's a terrible thing to say, and it's going to make it sound like it's going to be bad. But I mean, I'm like, is this Brian Fuller's sucker punch? But I'm keen. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Fuller. The cast, obviously, Mads Mikkelsen. So it was my pick before the trailer's even out. So I need it to be good. So double thumbs up.
2 thumbs up for me. I think this looks really fantastic. It's like, weirdly, seems to be a mashup of my love for Pushing Daisies and your love for Hannibal. Like this fucked up killer monster story, but then this weird whimsical world that's kind of being set up. Visually looks really interesting. I think, yeah, Sucker Punch is like weirdly a very apt comparison, at least visually. The other movie that came to mind was Stardust, like just because it's like this new fantastical story that in a world they're kind of setting up that we haven't seen before.
I'm talking as like, because I'm like, Sucker Punch is about the women going through all this trauma, and then like the visual stuff is like to help them get through it. And I'm like, is this like he's like killing all these people as a hitman, and is she viewing it all as this magical fancy thing,
or is he a monster? I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's So
was her family killed by monsters or killed by men? Don't know.
Yeah. Sigourney Weaver.
What is up? What is down? I don't know. I'm very intrigued.
She's shooting out of guns, shoe guns at the end of this trial. So.
What more could you want? Buster. Dust Bunnies is coming to US cinemas on the 12th of December. No Australian release date. Before we move on, I did see an interesting story related to Brian Fuller / Hannibal. So Screen Rant was doing an interview with him.
I was going to say there was drama around the poster too.
Really? Was there?
Accusations it's AI.
Yeah, I've seen some. I've seen like some accusations of AI. I don't know how true that is, but yeah.
I would also like to say, even if the poster was AI, I guarantee that that's a marketing thing by the studio, and it's nothing to do with Brian Fuller. So
Yeah. But yeah, during press for Dust Bunny, obviously somebody asked about, is there talk of more Hannibal coming out? And Brian Fuller said, "My dream project is to do a limited series of Silence of the Lambs with Mads and Zendaya as Clarence Starling.
yeah, I'm
If I
fine
could
with
put
that.
anything out into the universe, I would put that into the universe." So is that
Yeah.
something you want?
Yeah, I love Hannibal.
You want a TV remake of one of the most beloved films of all time, Silence of the Lambs?
No, don't need to remake. They were up to Silence and Lambs story wise when Hannibal got cancelled. So, like, as far as where they could pick up the storyline and continue it with Zendaya just playing the role of Clarence Starling, and I'm okay with that. I'd be fine. I'm obviously I'm a fan of Zendaya. I think she's great. So, I think she could do it. Also, just the idea of more Mads Mikkelsen Hannibal. Yes. Yes. Yes, yesterday. Yes, last week. Yes, last year,
Yeah, that's
All my favorite shows get cancelled or no rewards. Awards.
Who's behind Hannibal?
Who's behind Hannibal?
Yeah, what?
It was
It was an NBC show. So I guess it'd have to be like a Peacock series or something. If
yeah,
they'd go for that.
yeah. What a show.
Seems unlikely.
When I read this news story this week, I was like, man, I would love an excuse to rewatch Hannibal. And then I started thinking, I'm like, I need to come up with a content reason to rewatch Hannibal. What a show. And I'll start taking drugs at the same time.
We'll just start eating different pieces of people's bodies.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move into this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And in honor of a big, bold, beautiful journey coming out this week, starring Margot Robbie, this week's top 3 is top 3 Margot Robbie films. Dylan, what have you got at number 3?
At number 3, I've gone with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, in which she doesn't have a huge part, but I think is very important. And I think that she had her performance as Sharon Tate needed to be perfect for the whole film to work. Because for anyone who knows the history of what actually happens to Tate, obviously, in her Hollywood and Polanski and all these things, if she wasn't perfect, the film wouldn't work. It would feel off, especially for proper cinema historians or whatever. But she's fantastic, and that one little scene we get with her where we get to follow her through watching the cinema and being so happy to see herself on the big screen and everything, just perfection. So yeah, that's my number 3.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is my number 2, and I agree with all those sentiments. She's fantastic in the film, and she fulfills more of Quentin's feet fetish. So even though very dirty.
Worst fetishes to have is all I'm going to ever say for the Quentin thing.
Yeah, absolutely. At least you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
So I'll say my number 3. I feel like I needed to include a Harley Quinn performance. Because in each of these films, I know what your remaining 2 are.
That is outrageous for you to just throw out that you think I'm that predictable. I like her performance as Harley Quinn in every movie apart from the first one. So fuck you.
I just know that there is one more film that you love more than I love by a large degree.
Birds of Prey, right?
Yeah, so I said Birds of Prey, which I think is her best performance. Which, I mean, that's the one where she gets the most range and opportunity to do whatever she wants. Great dynamics, lots of fun. Her love of that, breakfast roll, makes my mouth salivate right now, so. That's my number 3. Dylan, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Barbie.
My number 1 is Barbie. So.
Obviously, Margot sort of the role of Barbie has taken her life the last couple of years since it released. I think that's sort of like Margot Robbie has become Barbie, but I think there's so many things that the movie gets remembered for, be it Ryan Gosling, be it the crazy style, be it the commitment to its weird and wonderful world in which the Barbie world exists and all these other things, but they're all just aspects that again, I think similar to what I was saying about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is you needed her to land stereotypical Barbie. You need this role that almost could come off as silly when she's delivering lines about, speaking to the girl at the schoolyard. Not like some of these lines could make the audience like laugh at her, not feel sorry for her. But I think like it's all delivered with so much sincerity as this character that you feel sorry for her, and that's sort of the point. So, yeah.
Not the flashiest performance in the thing, but the most crucial. And like, obviously, yeah, she became Barbie. She like, obviously, she was dressing up as all the outfits and all that kind of stuff for a long time. And I feel like she hasn't been in stuff for a while because of Barbie. And also because she had a child. But also to like give room between that performance as Barbie and whatever this film and Wuthering Heights coming out next. So yeah, that's my number one. I mean, almost a flawless film. Dylan, what is your number one?
What is my number one, smart guy?
Babylon.
How dare... Yeah, you're correct. My number one is the 2022 Damien Chazelle highly, highly, highly underrated film, Babylon. Which I've watched several times and think is fantastic every time. In fact, talking about it right now, let's watch Babylon, baby. Let's fucking put that movie on. You know what I mean? Let's at least watch the first hour and have a great time. Margot Robbie basically plays this character, which is like drawn again, like movies about Hollywood. Like movies about people that make movies. This is a movie about people that make movies. It's a movie about the golden age of Hollywood, where it starts, where she basically wanders in, does a whole bunch of cocaine, dances around in one of the best musical dance scenes in cinema in the last X amount of years. And she then, actress draws along and, gets throughout the course of the film just this highly self hurting her own life, career, and everything, like such a downward path. Did you ever watch this?
Yeah, I've watched it.
Did you watch it? You didn't like it, right? I can't remember what the story was.
I didn't love it as much as you.
Yeah, I just think she's such an interesting character, and the character of is it Nellie something or other?
Yeah, that's right.
The character goes through such an interesting and mimics Hollywood, I guess, at the time, which I think is sort of the point through her career as it sort of progresses for the film. But also means Margot has to go through this whole different thing, which at the first act of the movie, she just gets to play this completely coked up, off her face, having a wild, antic time, and then she gets to have so much fun and all these other things, and then the last act of the movie has to portray this very like almost depressed, lost person who eventually just succumbs to the night, literally. So yeah, everyone should watch Babylon. It's her best movie, and it's it's ridiculously underrated.
I'm glad I gave you this platform.
Look, I'll bring it up every time I get a chance, much like La La Land and whatever else is on the list of films that Dylan just brings up whenever he has opportunity. I'm sure there's a list. I'm sure if you went through every single podcast, it would be interesting to know what films I have mentioned the most.
Regular, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
Well, I do want to watch would you say the
A Big Bold Beautiful Journey?
That's it, Big Bold Beautiful Journey, directed by
Coconut.
Going to that on Wednesday night, so that's going to be my pick. TV front, I don't think is there anything? I don't think so. Is there?
Not really. What was I going to say? Obviously, Gen V starts this week, which is something I feel like I need to catch up on. It's going to tie in heavily, probably tie in at least a little bit into the final season of The Boys. And then the other thing this week, Black Rabbit, the Jude Law, Jason Bateman Netflix miniseries, which is why they appear together on the Emmy stage. That's coming out this week. Also on the movie front, Bad Guys 2 in cinemas. I'm keen to check it out. And Swipes, the
that's a
Tinder
movie,
slash
though, isn't it?
Bumble movie is coming to.
Yeah, it's a movie, not that.
Bumble is coming to Disney Plus. So yeah, lots of interesting things to check out. Let us know on social media what you want to watch this week by finding us at explosionnetwork.com/follow. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, see if you're reviewing our podcast or on Podchaser, leave us 5 stars and we leave 5 stars. or just tell people about the show. And if you really, really enjoyed this episode and want to help us out financially, head over to explosionetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.